Hello and welcome to this video from the Global Happiness Crusade. Mind the Gap. Finding strength beyond the storm. A wake-up call for men's mental health. So who am I and why am I here? It's probably best that I start with who I'm not. I'm not a therapist and I'm not a doctor. I'm Steve Bennett, just a bloke who's been through a few storms, like most of you. I was a scruffy, brummy kid. No silver spoons, no safety nets. And at 11, I was stacking supermarket shelves and riding an open all hours grocer's bike to earn a few bob. That hustle never left me, because if you wanted anything in our house, you had to earn it. In the 1980s, I joined the police, back when riots, football violence and public unrest were part of the job. I served in two major riots behind flimsy shields with petrol bombs and milk floats rammed with Molotov cocktails flying at us. On a day during the miners' strike, there wasn't enough riot gear to go around, and pickets skimmed bricks and pieces of clay pipe at us at head height. And I'll never forget the Birmingham Leeds football match. An 11-year-old lad at his first game who died under a collapsed wall. Meanwhile, while trying to arrest a thug who slashed my sergeant's chin with a Stanley blade, I was knocked unconscious by a yob swinging a piece of 4x2. I woke with a banging headache and a cauliflower ear. Later, I spent years in the CID dealing with some of the darkest sides of human nature. It was exciting, it was brutal, and yeah, it left some marks. Those days left scars I didn't talk about for years. Back then, we didn't talk about mental health. If you felt vulnerable, you buried it. We just kept going. Stiff upper lip, old boy. Bottle it up. You didn't feel. You functioned. I left the force, and over 37 years, I built 4 businesses from scratch. Early ones flopped. Later ones flew. I learned that failing is an essential element that teaches us how to do things differently. Pressure didn't go away, it just changed its shape. I spent 11 years growing one company only to be told the gentleman's agreement for my shares didn't exist. I was gutted, betrayed, and I felt bitter for a long time. And then I found a backer offering big promises, growth by acquisition, and that I'd lead the larger firm. 7 years later, the acquisition was done, but I was out. Surplus to requirements, no thanks, no future. I was crushed. Again. These moments shake you. In the police, I felt expendable. In business, I felt betrayed. And each time, it messed with my self-esteem, my confidence, my trust, my identity. But I refused to let moments like these define me. I wasn't to know it back then, but deep down, an inner drive was pushing me on. And through it all, whether in uniform or in a suit, the biggest lesson I've learned is that mental fitness matters just as much as physical fitness. One gets you through the workout, the other gets you through the week. I've spent over 30 years obsessively researching and learning what actually makes us happy. I studied neuroscience, psychology, and philosophy, learning all about resilience and purpose. I wanted to know what made us strong, not just on the outside, but in here. I created a 20-part wellbeing course of videos and ebooks, and I wrote a book called Make the Rest of Your Life the Best of Your Life. And recently, I launched something called the Global Happiness Crusade. This is a movement to help shift people, workplaces and society towards well-being. But today isn't about me, it's about you. And it's about one thing: minding the gap, the space between how strong you look and how strong you feel. So let's talk about the silent strain that we don't normally talk about. Let's face it, we men aren't great at opening up. We bottle things up. We push through. We call it being strong, but sometimes it's just silent suffering. Let's be honest, many men feel pressure to hold it all together. We wear a mask at work, at home, even with our family, our loved ones, and our friends. To suffer in silence because talking feels like weakness. But the statistics don't lie. 12 men a day die by suicide in the UK. 75% of all suicides are male. And 1 in 8 men in the UK experiences common mental health disorders of stress, depression, anxiety. And many never reach out, not to a GP, not to human resources, not even to their friends. This isn't about blame, it's about awareness. It's about changing the culture. Not overnight, but one conversation at a time. I've felt what burnout looks like. I've seen what betrayal feels like in business and in boardrooms. And I'm here to say it doesn't have to be this way. I've seen what healing can look like when we finally give ourselves the permission to ask, am I really okay? So let's explore that. Answer this privately for yourself. Are you really okay? Let's look at what's going on inside. Let me introduce you to a few simple but powerful concepts from my work. The first thing is called the wheel of well-being, mind the gap. Here's something I call the wow wheel, the wheel of well-being. It asks one simple question across 10 key areas. Where are you now? Where would you like to be? And those gaps, they matter. My research revealed 10 key areas that significantly influence our mental health, our well-being, and our happiness. And the object of this exercise is to plot a score for how you feel right now in each of these areas. You can plot them in any order. This completed wheel asks one simple question across 10 key areas. Where are you now? Where would you like to be? If the wheel that appears on screen is an indication of your state at the moment, it's no wonder the ride feels bumpy. And those gaps, they matter. If the ideal score for each area is 9 or 10, the difference between where you are now and where you ideally would want to be is contributing to your overall mental health, well-being and happiness. Addressing those gaps on your wow wheel can have a massive impact on your overall mental state. And if you're watching this and want to complete the wow wheel privately, just scan the QR code that you see here on screen. Let's talk about another aspect called Mind the Gap M.O.T. Another tool that I created for assessing our well-being state is something I call Mind the Gap M.O.T. We service our cars, we charge our phones, we update our software. But how often do we give our mind an M.O.T? What appears on screen is a free mental health and well-being check-in. It's quick, it's confidential, it's evidence-based. Just scan the code or visit the link that appears on screen. Go ahead, take your free mental health M.O.T. In just 2 minutes, you'll get a personalised insight into your emotional well-being and discover some actionable ways to build resilience, focus and calm. It only takes 2 minutes and it's completely free and confidential. You'll receive customised results instantly, and just like a car needs a regular MOT to stay safe and roadworthy, your mind benefits from a routine checkup too. Let's look at how we can reclaim your power. This next bit is gold. It's a concept I developed creating the Maximum Happiness course that has helped me through many mental and emotional struggles down the years. This is something I teach in my talks and courses, and it's called the perception cycle. It's how your brain makes meaning and messes with you. So, the perception cycle shows how your perceptions about a person or circumstance create your thoughts, which are energized by your emotions. Your emotions fuel your views, and more often than not, your views decide the actions and behaviors that you're likely to take, which will lead to the results and the outcomes that you'll get. You don't react to what happens, you react to what you think is happening. Let's say someone blanks your message. You think they don't care. You get annoyed. You back off. But maybe they were just busy. Apply a different perception and a totally different chain reaction occurs. This is how anxiety loops work. It's how we end up isolating, how we talk ourselves out of help. You can break the cycle, not by pretending you're fine, but by becoming more aware of the thoughts and emotions behind your feelings. It's a loop, and the simple rule is this: if you're unhappy with the results that you're getting with a person or circumstances, break the cycle, change your perceptions. And the great news, you can break the cycle, you can reshape it. The next free resource is Finding Strength Beyond the Storm. And this resource is for anyone who's ever felt like they were drowning in silence. Finding Strength Beyond the Storm is a guide that I wrote based on everything that I've learned over 4 decades in policing, in business, and in personal transformation. So, to download the document, the free guidebook as a PDF, Strength Beyond the Storm, scan the QR code on screen or make a note of the link, the hyperlink. Let's break some myths about mental health. Men aren't superheroes, we're human. And here's some of the myths that we often live by. I should never take a day off. Struggling equals weakness. Success and mental health don't mix. All of these are not only false, they're dangerous. So let's keep dismantling the stigma and building systems where well-being isn't just an afterthought, it's the foundation. And to watch my latest men's health video, scan the QR code on screen or make a note of the link. I've been there, not just once, quite a few times, and I'm still here. Not perfect, wobbling occasionally, but still standing. Don't let silence be your undoing. Talk, share, breathe, and please check in with yourself using the free M.O.T. Remember, mind that gap, because whatever's in that gap is your truth. And once you own it, you can start to heal. Strength isn't about carrying more, it's about learning when to put things down. You showed up today. You may have talked and you've listened. That's strength. Here's what I want to say to every man watching this. Your mental health matters. You're not alone. You're not weak for seeking support. In fact, it's the bravest thing that you could do.